Hi, I'm Bruce Kyle. I'm an architect evangelist at Microsoft. I work with software companies in the Pacific Northwest. I'd like to introduce Stuart Solarier. Stuart is a software architect with CheckFree and a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional.
Hello, I'm Stuart Solarier, and I blog at visualstuart.net. I'm a Microsoft MVP on connected systems, and until now, most of us have been programming in C# 1.0. From that .NET 1.1 era, and even if we've got a newer version of the language, we're still using it as if it were C# 1.0. We're going to take a look at what's new since 2003. What changes the way we program? We're going to focus on the language, not practices, not applicability, not even usefulness. So opportunity for abuse abounds. We're going to do just enough to be dangerous.
Hey, Stuart. What's today's Whirlwind?
Today we're going back to the world of C# 2.0 and looking at two topics, partial types and anonymous methods. A topic so big it doesn't quite fit on the slide. So let's start with partial types. It's a simple idea, really. Now types can span multiple files, and that allows me to keep the part that I write. Here I'm writing a form separate from the part that the designer writes, which is messy and involves newing up controls and suspending layout and setting properties and resuming layout and yada yada yada. That stuff the designer likes to write. Keep it out of my face and keep my code nice and clean. Nice topic. Partial types apply to classes, structs, and interfaces. So I cannot use them with, for example, an enum and have the set of enumerated values span multiple files. Let's move on to our next topic, anonymous methods. Let's motivate this with a sample. Let's say I have a stock class which raises a tick event when the price gets set. That might look something like this. Here I've got that stock class, I've got a tick event, and I'm saying it's of type tick event handler. It's in red, meaning I'm going to go define that on a new screen in just a second. On tick is how I raise the event, and I have a property called price, and when price gets set, we're going to raise the tick event. So pretty standard fare if you've done event handlers before. Let's take a look at the event handler and args that we have to write. So that event handler is a delegate. A delegate is just a fancy .NET name for a pointer to a function, a dereference function. I want to be able to pass functions in as arguments to other things. So that's what a delegate is. And here is a delegate named tick event handler. And really what we're telling the compiler is the shape of this method. So it takes two parameters, an object and a tick event args instance, and it returns void. Below that we see the tick event args class, which I'm just using to aggregate a couple of different values together so that I can pass them all in as a single instance to the event handler. Now how might I go use that named method? So here's an example at the top of using the stock. So let's new up a stock. Let's add a tick event handler. In this case, I'm adding a handler called writeTick, and I'm going to define that below. And then we go set the stock price. That's going to cause the event to get raised. As a result, writeTick gets called. So here's writeTick down at the bottom. Just going to do something, in this case, call writeLine and write out that information. Now here's the point. If writeTick is being created as a method to be called, to be passed into the tick event handler constructor in exactly one place, why am I having to create a method separate and give it a separate name? Why can't I let the compiler do some of that lifting for me? And so here is the anonymous method version. So just flipping back, before I had a tick event handler with a name. Now I'm going to just use the keyword delegate. I'm overloading the keyword delegate. I'm telling it the type of parameters that get passed in, and in line in the code block I'm writing my event handler right there. So compiler, you create a name for it behind the scenes. I don't need to know. I don't care what its name is. Now you're able to call it. Don't make me write lots of extra methods and give them names in some other part of my code just so that I can invoke them in exactly one place. In several other contexts, we're just using events and event handlers as a motivation there, but I also use delegates for callbacks and a number of other things.
Hey, thanks, Stuart. For more information for software developers, see the US ISV Developer Evangelist blog on MSDN.
Hey, it's been fun. Again, I'm Stuart Solarier, and I blog at visualstuart.net. See you next time.